What's cracking, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. And today we're doing another rookie mock draft. Today is going to be Superflex, 4 rounds. But just to let you know, I got some more on the back burner. And if you want me to drop those as well, make sure you hit that like button. 50 likes, and I'll drop another one off the rip. You guys love the rookie mock drafts. I get it. It's helping you guys out, getting a feel of the market, getting the feel of how these drafts are going. And I'm doing a lot of drafts. I got a good feel of how these players are landing. We just had the combine. People are valuing these players a little different. And now that we're going through these mocks, again, we're going to see how these changes are happening, how they're occurring, and who's falling and who's getting overdrafted. And that's the beauty of mock drafts. It gives us a good feel of what the market is looking at for these players. With that being said, we're going to get a good gauge of the market from this 4-round Superflex rookie mock draft right now. Alright, boys and girls, let's hit it. We're in the first round. We're going to run through this kind of quick because you know the procedure here. The 101 first pick off the board on this Superflex rookie mock draft is Malik Willis, quarterback of Liberty. He is all over the board in Superflex drafts. A lot of times he's the 101. A lot of times he's a mid-first, late-first. Really depends on how your league values the quarterback position. I say this every time. In this draft, they valued him as the 101. Big playability, big arm, Konami code, going to give you first-round draft capital. At the 102 spot here, the next player off the board was Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State. Dude blew up the combine, solidified himself as the 101 in 1 QB drafts and potentially mostly in Superflex drafts. Number 1 skilled player in rookie drafts right now. Breece Hall was productive throughout his collegiate career, has good athleticism, and is the top skilled player in rookie drafts right now. At the 103 in the first round here, they selected Treylon Behrs, wide receiver from Arkansas. Big playability, bigger wide receiver, ran a 4.55 at the combine, but has a good size adjusted speed score. I think he ranked 4th among all wide receivers at the combine in size adjusted speed score. I'm not worried about the speed. I think he's got good playmaking ability. I think he's just a bigger A.J. Brown who is aggressive at the catch point, who can get it done after the catch, and I'm excited about him. At the 104 spot, this guy did not drop in this draft, but I've seen him drop in others. They selected Isaiah Spiller, running back from Texas A&M. Did not run at the combine. He did do some jumps, but he's got good size to him, has some good wiggle, moves laterally pretty well on tape, has some burst on film. It's going to be interesting to see what he does at his pro day, and I'm interested to see where he goes in the draft. Will he go in the 2nd round? Will he go in the 3rd round? Who's going to pay up and draft him? Isaiah Spiller is one of the top running backs in the draft right now. Moving on to the 105 pick, we went quarterback again. Here they drafted Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pittsburgh. Superflex drafts, quarterbacks get the value, quarterbacks get the bump up. If Pickett hits, he is a high-end prospect for Dynasty. Can't hate the pick here. He could give you the production you want. He's also going to hold his value for a little bit. He is going to be drafted in the 1st round. Was not productive during his entire career at Pitt, but he did have a solid final year there where he had big-time numbers. Moving on to the 106 spot. Here we drafted the 2nd best wide receiver in this class, maybe the 1st best, however you want to rank him. I'm kind of got him mixed up and down every day, but here they drafted Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Dude's got elite change of direction skills. He's a very nuanced route runner. We'll get 1st round draft capital. Might be the 1st wide receiver drafted. We're going to have to wait and see on that, but he's going to be one of the 1st wide receivers drafted. So we should be laser focused on Garrett Wilson, where he goes in the draft. I think he's a tremendous prospect. Moving on to the 107. Another wide receiver going off the board, and that is Drake London, wide receiver from USC. He might be the 1st wide receiver coming off the board at the draft. A lot of people have him mocked as the top wide receiver. A lot of big media guys have him ranked as the wide receiver 1 in this class, and I've seen a lot of people bump him up in their rankings as well. He's a bigger wide receiver, can get downfield, box up defenders, and is nasty at the catch point. He's very comparable to Mike Evans in that way. Former basketball player who can get the job done at the catch point. Moving on to the 108 pick here in this draft, they selected Jamison Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. Formerly from Ohio State, he transferred over to Alabama this year, told John Mechie that this is his ship, took over, had over a 30% market share of Alabama's passing production. Dude has 4.3 speed, he has elite level burst, he's a nuanced route runner, can stop on the dime, and is going to go in the latter portion of the first round of this year's draft. Could be a steal for his NFL team. Going on to the 109 pick, another wide receiver off the board. Been going wide receiver heavy, and it's Chris Olave, the other wide receiver from Ohio State. Another nuanced, skilled player, very good route runner. He always comes up with the big plays when the team needs it. Had a big connection with Justin Fields back in the day a couple years ago. Again, this guy's got some short area quickness, good change of direction skills, has some decent speed. I think he ran a 4.39 40th of combine. And another guy here off this list who's going to be drafted in the first round. Going to the 110 spot. This guy kind of fell. I'm kind of surprised he fell this far in the draft. Usually he's been getting a bump up in mock drafts after the combine, but he's going here at 110, and it's Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. The dude did well at the combine. He ran like a 4.38. Good size adjusted speed score, ran for over 1,600 yards last year, has good wiggle, has good vision, good approach to the line of scrimmage, and can pull away a little bit in the open field, has a good read and a good feel of the momentum of the defenders around him, can read leverage, can really chain together moves and think ahead of the defenders before making his moves, processes things quickly. Really good tape from this guy. Good value here at the 110 spot. Moving on to the 111, another quarterback coming off the board, and here they drafted Matt Corral. Here, Matt Corral was projected to be the QB1 of this year's draft throughout the season. I don't know what's happening right now, but people are starting to fade him. I really love this value. I like him as the best value in this mock draft right now. The back half of the first round in Superflex for a quarterback getting drafted in the first round who was garnered as the top quarterback in college football through most of the season, if not one of the top quarterbacks, and you're getting him at this discount. I can't tell you how much I love that. Also, he's got a little bit of a Konami code in him. He's more of a scrambler, but again, a little bit of rushing production always helps. Moving on to the last pick of the first round, these jabronis drafted my guy. They let him go in the first round, even after the combine where he ran the 4.6s. David Bell, wide receiver from Purdue. Don't sleep on him. The tape is for real. The metrics are for real. Early breakout age, and was productive from the start and to the end of his collegiate career. That's it for the first round of this mock draft. We still got 3 more to go. Let's hit up that second round right now. At the 201 spot here, they drafted Wandel Robinson, wide receiver from Kentucky. Broke out with 2 collegiate programs. First off with Nebraska at age 19 during his sophomore season, and then again this year with Kentucky and during his age 20 season where he officially blew up against SEC level competition and looked good doing it. He was very explosive on the field, getting behind the defense. A lot of people are very interested in his skill set. Moving on to the 202 pick here, we have a riser, and that's Rashaad White, running back from Arizona State. Dude rushed for 1,000 yards, around 15 touchdowns, and was very productive on the field. Caught 42 passes on the season. Can be used as a receiving back. His receiving chops is what is giving him value in fantasy. Did well at the combine. That caused his stock to rise in rookie drafts and allowing him to be one of the most coveted running backs in this rookie draft. Going on to the 203 here, we have another value at the quarterback position. This guy really shouldn't be falling this far, but considering how deep we are at wide receiver, it makes sense. Here they selected Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina. Dude rushed for over 800 yards this season and can sling the rock. Was productive throughout his entire collegiate career. Looked good doing it. During his freshman season, everybody was talking about how they were excited about him being a future first-round pick. Now the time's here. Now the potential of him being drafted in the first round is growing larger and larger. Moving on to the 204 pick here, these guys drafted Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from Penn State. The dude's got a little bit of quickness. Dude's got some speed. Dude was productive during his career at Penn State. Can run some routes and has very sticky hands. He can catch the ball away from his body, overhead, and he's very dependable. Moving on to the 205 pick here in this rookie draft. These guys drafted Zamir White, running back from Georgia. This is one of my guys. I'm hitching my wagon to him. He had a very good outing at the combine. It was sneaky good because a lot of people were focusing on all these other running backs. He didn't hit the 4.3s, but he hit the low 4.4s with good size adjusted speed. Production-wise, pretty good for a guy coming off 2 ACLs at Georgia after sharing the field with DeAndre Swift. Dude showed some burst. Dude showed some speed. Dude can really put a number on at the NFL level if he gets the opportunity to succeed, and you're getting him here at a value. Moving on to the 206 pick in this draft, another riser from the Senior Bowl, an even bigger riser from the Combine. That's Christian Watson, wide receiver from North Dakota State. Dude is a size-adjusted speed demon. He has the size to really extend his catch radius, has the speed to separate, and has the production on his collegiate profile. Looked good at Senior Bowl, looked good at the Combine, one of the biggest risers in this year's draft. Moving on to the 207 pick here of the second round. The next player is going to be a tight end. You could probably guess it. It's Trey McBride, tight end from Colorado State. One of the most productive tight ends in this year's class. Looked very good at the Senior Bowl. Looked better than most of the pass catchers, including the wide receivers. He's a decent route runner, has good hands, could be used in the passing game, but let's see where he goes in the NFL draft before we start drafting him heavy in rookie drafts. Moving on to the 208 pick, another one of my guys. He fell too far in his draft for my liking, and we're talking about George Pickens, wide receiver from Georgia. One of the top wide receivers in this draft. I think the upside's nuclear. He could be a top 10 pick in Dynasty, a top 10 guy once he develops, once he gets his feet wet at the NFL. There are some risks. He could fall on his face. A lot of these players could. But the upside is nuclear. This guy does some good things when the ball's in the air. He's very aggressive. He's very assertive. And I'm willing to bet on that talent. I'm drafting him a lot higher than the 208. Moving on to the 209 pick. Another guy that I'm very high on, and that's Skye Moore, wide receiver from Western Michigan. Dude broke out early in his career and was productive throughout his entire collegiate career. Has good hands, savvy route runner, good change of direction skills, good short area quickness, and really a solid slot receiver. Let's see where he goes in the draft. I have a feeling he's going to get drafted higher than what everyone's expecting. Now we're headed to the 210 pick in this draft. These guys selected James Cook, running back from Georgia. Got a lot of buzz at the combine. People were talking him up. Has good speed, has good burst, pass catcher out of the backfield. Another running back where I just want to see where he goes in the draft. I want to see his draft capital. I want to see his opportunity. Nothing against him, but running backs kind of thick there in the back end where it could be anybody's job to get that running back 4 or 5 spot in this year's draft. Moving on to the 211 spot here. Another one of my guys fallen in the draft. I would have selected him a little higher, but it's Justin Ross, wide receiver from Clemson. Productive and broke out at age 18 at Clemson, his first season there. Then he had a good age 19 season. Then the spinal injury happened, had to sit out, came back this year, still hit over a 20% market share of Clemson's passing production, even though Clemson's offense was just straight doo-doo. Was bad, horrific, however you want to explain it. It wasn't good, but he still made some stuff happen. Might be one of the most technical wide receivers in the draft. Has good ball skills. His route running is upper echelon for a draft prospect. He attacks blind spots, can turn on a dime, and is very cerebral. Moving on to the last pick of the second round. Back at the quarterback position, good value here. Here they drafted Carson Strong, quarterback from Nevada. And this is a great value here because you're getting a quarterback. If he goes to the right situation, gets the time to develop, really hits stride there, we could get a good asset for our dynasty teams at this cheap cost. 212 pick is nothing really in the grand scheme of things. And if you're getting a quarterback who may get the opportunity sooner than later, it's a good get for that. That's it for the second round. We're running through this quick, and I'm just trying to keep you locked into this mock draft. That's why we're hitting this third round hard. 301 pick, first pick in the third round. They drafted Damien Pierce, running back from Florida. Dude got a lot of buzz out of the Senior Bowl. He runs hard, runs through faces, bigger back, runs laterally well. At the 302 pick here, another tight end off the board, and here they selected Jalen Whittermeier, tight end from Texas A&M. Was the WT1 in this class for quite some time. Has some talent, has good size adjusted athleticism, could get drafted higher than expected, could be the top tight end from this class. Moving on to the 303 pick in this draft. Here they selected Jerome Ford, running back from Cincinnati. This guy's being slept on. He should be bumped up more in the second round some of these drafts. He's a good running back, good pedigree, formerly from Alabama, can do a lot of things between the tackles, has good burst, good quickness, and I want to see where he gets selected in the draft because I think he's going to get drafted higher than expected. Moving on to the 304 pick, another player who fell farther than they really should have, and that's Tyler Algiere, running back from BYU. He snoozed the combine, though. BYU was talking him up. They were talking up his speed. They sold his wolf tickets pretty much. However, on tape, it's still good enough to get the job done. Was very productive this year. Can catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield. He's team thick, over 220 pounds, and can be a three-down grinder at the next level. Again, another player we want to see where he goes in the draft. 305 pick here. A surprise maybe to some, but not really to me. Here they selected John Mechie, wide receiver from Alabama. The media loves this kid. I'm guessing NFL scouts might love this kid. I bet you he gets drafted higher than expected. Maybe second round, maybe in the third round, but more than likely a day 2 guy, and that's going to bump up his rookie value. Getting a day 2 wide receiver in the third round is fine. At least you know he's got draft capital. At least you know he's going to get some kind of opportunity to succeed early in his career. Moving on to the 6th pick in the third round, the 306. Here they drafted Calvin Austin, wide receiver from Memphis. This dude can blaze the track. He's fast. He can get downfield. He's 5'7". Probably more than likely going to be a special teamer, but might be able to get some opportunity in the slot. The next pick here at the 307, they drafted Aquandre White, running back from South Carolina. This is another banger who can get it done between the tackles, has some production on his profile, and he may slip in the draft a little bit, but if he goes in the right situation, he might be a player we may want to hold on to. At the 308, another wide receiver off the board. Here they selected Khalid Shakir, wide receiver from Boise State. Dude has good ball skills. He's made some tremendous catches over the course of his career. He can get downfield. He can find a spot. And he could be a riser a few years down the road later in his career. Let's move down to the 309 pick here in the third round. 9th selection here. Brian Robinson, running back from Alabama. Team thick, workhorse, can catch the ball out of the backfield. Probably going to be a mid-rounder in this year's draft. Teams may want to pay the Alabama tax, might get drafted higher than expected. If that happens, he's probably going to get selected higher than the third round, or at least the tippy-top portion of the third round in rookie drafts. To the next pick here in the third round, the 310 pick. Here they selected Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver from South Alabama. This guy's been productive throughout his career, has good ball skills, can get downfield. He's a small school prospect that I just want to see where he goes in the draft, just like I'm saying with all these other players, because he could fall a little bit, or he could fall to a grand situation with decent draft capital. Next player off the board at the 311 spot. Big time discount here at the quarterback position. Here they drafted Desmond Ritter, quarterback from Cincinnati. This dude ran a 4.5 at the combine. I think it was 4.5 something to be correct, but it happened. Fast enough to be a Konami code guy, fast enough to use his rushing production to elevate his fantasy potential, something I want to buy. And then the third round, which I think this guy's going to be more like a second rounder, early third rounder in Superflex, maybe higher, depending on where he goes in the draft. This is a mega value for him. At the last pick in the third round, the 312, these guys drafted Kyren Williams, running back from Notre Dame. This dude failed the combine. He failed the 40. However, tape kind of checks out. He can block his face off. He can catch the ball in the backfield. So if he gets decent draft capital, gets the opportunity, he could still exceed expectations. That kills the third round. Now it's time to hit that fourth round of this draft. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm still going hard for you guys. Fourth round, let's get it. 4-1. New player off the board here that I don't think we've had in any mock drafts yet, but that's Greg Dulcich, tight end from UCLA. I might have butchered that name, but a lot of people have him ranked as the TE1 in this draft. A lot of big-time media guys. He can run routes. He can get downfield. He could be the tight end one of this draft when it comes to production later on down the line. At the 402 spot, this is one of my guys for the latter portions of rookie drafts. Pierre Strong, running back from South Dakota State. This guy runs with pop, burst, wiggle, and was very productive throughout his collegiate career. He's an older prospect, but we're not paying for an older prospect. He is a cheap get right now in rookie drafts, and really he's a guy that we're just holding on our taxi squad to see what happens. To the 403 spot, another running back, Tyler Goodson, running back from Iowa. This guy ran better than expected at the combine. His tape is decent from his days at Iowa. Has good wiggle, has good vision, made some big plays happen, was very productive. Now we get to see where he goes in the draft. But again, this is another taxi squad guy that we're just going to see what happens with. At the 404, friend of the show, Kevin Harris, running back from South Carolina, just got selected. A lot of people talk him up in the comments all the time. A big running back who had his day in the sun a couple years ago, can be productive, could be the late round gem that we're looking for in drafts, and a guy that we're keeping our eye on. At the 4 or 5 spot, this guy fell, and I kind of like him. He didn't have the greatest combine, and it's Donavan Knight, running back from North Carolina State. Again, this guy's a banger between the tackles, runs laterally well, can make some things happen. Is he the perfect back? No, but we're getting him at a pretty discount here at the 4th round, and you can't hate on that. At 406, this guy's falling. Didn't have the greatest combine for his size, but was very productive this year. Can be used in the passing game. I'm talking about Tyler Batty, running back from Missouri. Another guy that we're putting on our taxi squad to see what happens, but he has some production. If he gets an opportunity, he could sneak in there and get some fantasy points due to his receiving production. At the 407 spot, going back to the tight end well here, and here they selected Isaiah Likely, tight end from Coastal Carolina. This guy's highly athletic, catch the ball. If he goes to the right spot, we're talking about a guy that can be a PPR monster at the tight end position. We don't have many good tight ends. With a 4th round rookie pick, just throwing one against the wall. Let's see what happens with this dude. To the 8th pick in the 4th round, the last quarterback that's going to be coming off the board today is Bailey Zapp, quarterback from Western Kentucky. This dude was very productive this year, was slinging the rock all over the field, and he was at the Senior Bowl. Didn't look like the best quarterback on the field, but he did have his moments. Again, a mid-round, late-round quarterback here that we can just throw a dart throw at just to see what happens. 409 pick here in the draft. These guys drafted Romeo Douglas, wide receiver from Nevada. Big play guy, bigger wide receiver. You get it done downfield. Strong hands, tough at the catch point. Played with Carson Strong, a guy I'm really watching in the draft. I want to see where he goes because this could be a riser a few years down the road. 410, another running back off the board. I don't think we drafted him yet in any mock drafts, but it's Hassan Haskins, running back from Michigan. Dude is a bigger running back. He's a banger between the tackles. Had that blow-up game against Ohio State. Really, if he latched on with the NFL team, they gave him the opportunity, he could be a workhorse for them, at least for a little bit. Going to the 411 pick in this draft in the 4th round, these guys selected Abram Smith, running back from Baylor. Good size, adjusted speed guy. Showed that on tape. Was very productive this year. Switched from linebacker to running back. So really new at the position, but transitioned very well when you look at the production, when you look at the tape. And I'm very interested to see where he goes in the draft, see what opportunity he gets at the NFL level. For the last pick in this draft, 412, they drafted Eric Ezukanma, wide receiver from Texas Tech. Bigger wide receiver. Early market share guy, has some production. Again, I think this is a wide receiver that we're going to catch in the later rounds, but could be a decent piece on our taxi squad. Just be on the lookout on him. He's actually a guy I've been focusing on in the latter rounds of rookie drafts. But that's it for this draft. That's all I got. Let me know in the comments what you think of this draft. Let me know who is being overdrafted, who fell in the draft, who would you take a lot earlier, or whatever you want to say. Just drop it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, though, because I got more mock drafts coming at you, and every subscription matters. It fuels me to keep pumping out this content. It fuels me to keep watching the tape, grinding the metrics, and everything else. But again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.